Hey everybody, welcome to COCBLOK, the Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers of Kentucky. I am Matt.
And I am Jeff.
And we are going to talk about beer. I hope we're going to talk about beer today.
I think we'll talk a little bit about beer.
We got a lot of good topics today. IPA Day is coming up real soon.
Every day is IPA Day.
Well, yeah, technically speaking.
For me, anyways.
Yeah. Some interesting new beer jobs opening up for professional archivists. And Jeff's been traveling everywhere, eating vegan food, so he's going to talk about some of the places he's been at.
Vegan.
So what kind of beers you been drinking lately, though, man?
Oh, it's just been an incredible, non-stop parade of amazing, wonderful, quaffable. Wait, what are we talking about? Beers. And I mean, well, you weren't there. You missed, unfortunately, because you're working. Like Rush said, you're a working man, right?
Yes, I am.
And,
unfortunately,
last Thursday, the Bell's Tap Takeover at Trap
Beer Trap
was very good. Two incredible. I'm sure a lot of people out there will agree with me because I saw them with 2 or 3 glasses of this beer in their hand at one time.
Which one
was the Barrel Aged Expedition?
Okay,
and just a phenomenal.
Keep talking. I'm gonna look it up and see if I've had that one. Everybody's been talking about
Barrel Aged Expedition.
Yeah.
I think it's been, I thought I saw first that it was packaged a little bit.
They've had it in bottles before, I'm pretty sure.
So. I thought I saw a picture of it in a bottle.
So how was it?
That was just a brilliant, lot different for me than regular Expedition, which I find to be more chocolatey and creamier. I thought that the barrel kind of mellowed out a lot of that stuff, but also, of course, really boozy and big and bourbony. And then, of course, the double. Yeah. Not just one Two-Hearted. Not just one
double,
heart. Not
so
just
double Two-Hearted,
but double Two-Hearted.
That's like 4 hearts.
4 hearts. I mean, that's a loving beer.
4-hearted, yeah.
That's a beer that won't stop loving you. And that beer also, surprisingly, just really knocked me off my socks. More like, almost reminded me of like a Three Floyds Imperial with that tropical, fruity, kind of big.
You're still talking about the 4-hearted, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I wish I could have gone.
I love you, 4-hearted.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good night. A lot of people were talking about that.
And considering I've been to some of those takeovers recently where they're thinly populated when it starts at 5. Bell's, an old school brewery, one of my first craft breweries, of course.
Probably first for a lot of people. Yeah. They've been around for a long time.
Brought them in.
Yeah.
A lot of blockers there. A lot of nerds there waiting around ordering barrel-aged Expedition after barrel-aged Expedition.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's all gone now.
It blew that night. And my strategy with the tap takeovers over there is usually not to go at 5 on a Thursday, but show up the next day.
Yeah.
Around noon or 1, because a lot of stuff's still left over. But as far as I know, that Expedition blew the same night.
Okay. Yeah. You think that the 4-hearted's still on?
No, it's not on.
Quad-hearted?
It's gone. I think that might have blown Saturday. It lasted a little bit.
Okay.
I might be wrong. Someone can call in and correct me, although there is no phone number.
Somebody can text you or tweet you. Right. Yeah, I actually stopped by. I had a few minutes before the show. I stopped by the beer trap. And I walked up and I was like, oh, they're not open at all.
We have
going to West 6.
I think we've all done the Monday afternoon mistake where you forget,
Yeah, every day during the week they're open at like 11, and then like a Monday they open at like 7 p.m.
4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, on Monday they open at 7 p.m. Tuesday.
Yeah, well, what, they have to rest? They can't keep serving beer?
I guess. Well, I assume nobody else goes in there. And then there's always like the cockblockers like knocking on the door like, let me in at 10 a.m.
Right.
So I've had not nearly as good stuff as that, but I've had some good shelf stuff. You ever had any Uinta stuff?
Of course.
Yeah, they have a tangerine hop nosh now.
Hop nosh is classic. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like the regular hop nosh IPA.
That's a beer they're getting out in distro. I think they're making a lot of that. It's getting a lot of small bars, a lot of small places.
Yeah, and it's good stuff. It's easily overlooked by a lot of people, but they have a tangerine one out now. It's a little tangy, not sour, but you know how you get sometimes like underripened fruit's a little tangy, but it's really good. I like that one a lot.
I did see also from them a pineapple gozer was just released in 22 ounce.
From Uinta? Mm-hmm. Okay. Speaking of pineapple beers, you had that Jungle Boogie from Mars.
Yeah, we talked about this. But there's a pineapple.
The pineapple
No,
one.
I haven't had the pineapple.
I had the pineapple one.
Where'd you get that?
Our buddy Bradford actually had some. He had somebody send him some.
Nice.
I stopped in to do a beer drop off, a little trader-rooski, and he just had some open. He's like, "Here, you want some?" I was like, I want some.
That's not candid against the grain.
No, I assume not. No, right. It's actually in a 500. I think it's a 500 milliliter bottle. Yeah, that's
not a can.
Oh man, that stuff's fantastic. I like I mean, we talked about the regular one. I think is fantastic. The pineapple one's really good. But yeah, I've been drinking shelf turds mainly.
What about the new Avery El Goza?
Oh, Goza. That's I had one. This is a what is it? A lime lime goza, right, from Avery.
I saw you post that online. I had just picked up a can.
Yeah.
Right before you posted that.
It's pretty good. I had it not nearly as salty or sour as, the Westbrook gozas or anything
Drinkable.
like that. It is drinkable. I had the second one, and then I was kind of over it. Like, it's so, it's so light. I mean, a lot of these gozas are.
So you bought a 6-pack?
I did buy a 6-pack. I'm going to give it to my wife, I guess. But it's like a lot of these gozas are so flavorful, and they have like so much, character to them that it's, it's all over the place. Even though it's a light sessionable beer, this one has the light sessionable aspect to it, but it kind of tastes like a Tecate.
Yeah,
like just like a Mexican lager. Yeah, like
that lime
kind of
lime in it.
Yeah, it's a lot like a lager, so it's not bad. I'm not going to buy it again.
Speaking of Goza, on tap, have you had Central State's Laser Raptor?
No, where's that at?
That's at Hopcat.
Is it made with real raptors?
It is. Well, my son was really excited when I ordered it because
it's called Laser Raptor.
Right, like, dinosaur, man, dinosaur beer. We just saw.
I'd love that too.
We can talk about this later, but big dinosaur exhibit at the Indianapolis Children's Museum.
Yeah.
So of course his whole life is dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And this is a cranberry Goza.
Okay.
With some lime. Very cranberry.
I don't think we see enough cranberries in with as many fruits as we see in beers right now. I don't know why we don't
West
see
62 some cranberry.
There's a few here and there. I think Ocean Spray's got the market locked up.
That's the thing. If you're not in the Ocean Spray, conglomerate, connections, you can't get cranberry for your beer.
The Ocean conglomerate.
Yeah, right. Cranberries are they grow in water, right?
I guess that's what they look like in the commercial with the old dude in the sun.
Nobody eats them, and so nobody eats them. You just get them on Thanksgiving in a can.
Yeah,
because nobody knows how to actually make cranberries.
Yeah, I don't think they exist. I think
it's really one of the biggest fraud industries out there is the cranberry industry.
The fact that they don't exist.
It's totally built on one day a year.
Yeah.
Everyone buys cans of it, and nobody eats it.
It's actually, I think the first name was Soylent Green.
Soylent Green is a human being.
Yeah, it's people.
We should thank the craft beer industry for finding another usage for cranberry.
Put
it in a Goza.
Yeah, well, they're not. So it was good because people don't use them that often. Was it pretty salty?
No,
I
did not think it was
very palatable.
I thought very cranberry.
Okay, there's lots of Gozas this time.
I was actually surprised also yesterday because this is a brewery that has not really hit it for me overall. I'm rooting for them always, and I was glad when I first started distributing down here, but it's 8-ball. But I had 2 8-balls yesterday.
Yeah.
That actually I thought were pretty good.
Okay.
One is Yoga Pants, the black IPA.
I haven't had that.
And a nice, hoppy, slightly roasty, so-called Cascadian IPA.
Yes, of course.
And the other would be, what was the other one called? It was called Straight Ballin', which spelled with an 8 in the straight.
Okay.
And that's actually originally against the Grain collab of a big boozy strong ale with lots of caramel toffee.
Just a strong ale?
Yeah.
Classified as a strong ale?
American strong ale. Not any of that British or Belgian or German.
Was it balanced?
American, man.
Yeah. Was it balanced? Because I tend to think that 8-ball stuff is like all over the place.
It's called like a sweet bomb.
Yeah. So
this is
like
a caramel sweet bomb.
Sugar.
This is a super sweet, boozy-ish. Not a brewery boozy sweet, but more tamer than that.
Yeah.
But still a lot of sweet. So I just got a very small.
Yeah. I want every brewery to do well, and there's a lot of them now.
Right.
But I'm kind of
particularly a brewery with an 8 in the middle of their name.
Well, yeah, because
they're messing with our minds.
Oh yeah, but have you seen the logo? It's like the 8-ball logo. Right. It's like 4 guys, and it's like their midsection. Anyway, it's kind of appropriate for COCBLOK.
Have you ever been there?
Yes, I have. Yeah, it's in the back of the party source. Yeah, it's actually a pretty cool little venue, pretty small. They have some good taps a lot of times, but I'm kind of like you with your initial impression. I've never been super impressed by anything by them, and when they first started out, I bought their stuff all the time, and now I just pass it. I didn't realize they were showing up at Hopcat now.
We're seeing more cans coming through town.
Yeah,
I see a lot. Yeah, I see a number of their beers on draft at Hopcat from time to time.
Really?
I think there might have been even 2 or 3 yesterday, maybe more.
Really?
That's become my 8-ball destination. If I want to try, if I want a little 8-ball in the morning, go to Hopcat.
So are you seeking it out now? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not seeking it out.
Okay. So more if you go there and they have it, then you end up getting it. I had a very good beer a lot of people have had lately that's kind of popped up on the shelves and it disappeared really quick is the I think it's pronounced Calipigian from Avery.
Oh yeah.
It's that
to me.
Bourbon barrel stout. Have you had that one?
I did. That was very good.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's one of those we can't say the price.
Yeah, it's
bottles.
very expensive.
Spend a little more than $1 an ounce on that baby.
Yeah, it's along the same lines of like the Uncle Jacob stout. I've heard people saying that it's not quite Uncle Jacob's good.
No, it was good.
Which Uncle Jacob stout from Avery is one of my better appreciated stouts, but it's a huge beer, 17% alcohol. This Calipigian kind of falls in the same vein, but it's really good. It's right up there, man. It's a little bit smoother, actually.
I'm kind of impressed that you can remember how to pronounce it, because I can't.
Calipigian or Uncle Jacob's?
Calipigian.
Okay, yeah.
Some of those beers, like, wait, what's that beer called again?
Yeah.
Gotta look that up again. Therasunian.
I don't know.
Mastersasian.
Yeah.
What is that called?
Yeah. Try to pronounce like any beers from OEC, or even say the brewery's actual name.
Avery's good at that with the weird barrel aged names.
Yeah, I don't like a lot of their high gravity sours. You know, the real like boozy sours. But that
off and on.
That stout was fantastic, and it popped up on the shelves at Liquor Barn
again.
Yeah, well, I think
it was about a month ago I saw that first come to town.
Well, I don't understand this, but if you go into, I live over in the Hamburg area of Lexington, right? And if you go into the Liquor Barn over there, you walk in, beer is all the way over to the left.
That's
on the
right.
very end. They got the taps on the right.
They got that really long shelf, the counter.
You talking about like the display counter? Yeah, they put like the newer, quote unquote, rare stuff, and they got like the cool stuff in the back. But every once in a while, they'll just throw beer in random places, like in a liqueur section, or in like the local section, or even in like a wine section. And I don't understand why.
You found this beer in the wine section?
I walked in. I went like 3 end caps to the left, right from the entrance, and they had an Avery section. They just created an Avery section on an end cap.
Yeah, so I think this is a Liquor Barn thing right now.
Yeah, but it was like, 3/4 of a mile from the beer section. Yeah. So the Calipigian and the Uncle Jacob's is just sitting there, and like nobody's buying because nobody's there. That's actually where I found the Goza, the El Goze from Avery.
Beaumont.
In that section.
Although I did see, I think this might be some kind of Liquor Barn deal with whoever's the Avery distributor. I can't remember the title.
I don't know.
And they also set up now where there's like this. There's this place near their special display case where they've done, just one brewery listing to Kentucky for a while. Then it was Sierra Nevada. Now it's Avery. But they had another one of these weird displays down by the deli where they put a bunch of beer for a while, and nobody ever saw it. Nobody even knew. Beaumont? Yeah, nobody knew over Beaumont where you can get we can buy growler fills and deli stuff. Nobody knew there was like 20 or 30 beers over there on a display case, and so they finally moved it.
Why don't you put it at least somewhat near where the actual beer is? And I understand putting it next to the entrance because you're trying to attract people, and that's why you have like the big marketing pieces. West 6 does a huge one in Hamburg right now. They got a big old boat for the half pint IPA, and they got all their other beers there. I understand that it's a centerpiece, but you throw it on an end cap where it's kind of like still kind of melded in with like the other alcohol. Nobody knows it's there, and it just sits idle.
The other thing that kills me in the Beaumont is they keep moving the Kentucky section, and we're one of those states that does not have...
You mean like the local...
Wherever you can find something that's been made in Kentucky, basically, except for a few things. And now it's buried way in the back, behind all the beer, like where the homebrewing stuff is, where no one will ever see it. So way to promote Kentucky beers,
That's one thing. We're going off on a tangent. I don't really like about...
Yeah, we never do that.
Barn. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. But
this was not on our agenda to talk about Liquor Barn today.
I don't like how they constantly move everything.
No.
It's every other week. It's like something gets moved to a new place. And in the Hamburg one, they've changed the location of the large format bottles, the bombers, at least 4 times in recent memory that I can recall. And where they are now, they've been there for a while, but it's like at one point they had them mixed in with the regular beer, and then they had them like on a different end cap. They've changed end caps like 2 or 3 times, and then it's just like it's all over the place. I don't even know where to freaking look for beer there anymore. So I just cross my fingers, hope I come up with something. But that Calipigian, great Calipigian, great stout, expensive stout. So I'll probably go back and get more.
And I was going to ask you something else about...
I like to keep talking until you forget what you're thinking.
I know, what we've been drinking. What was I going to say? Well, this is really good radio right now.
Well,
the other things... some other interesting things I think that have come through that I've enjoyed.
Yeah.
Include Rheingeist T-Rex.
I had that.
I thought that was pretty decent.
Yeah, I actually had that at Beaumont.
I had it at Beaumont too.
Yeah, there you go.
I can't hype a deal or anything like that. But there's some.
I'll get like 10 minutes in between jobs.
There's some pretty good tap deals.
I'll be in the Beaumont area, and I'll just be like, give me a 6-ounce pour.
Big surprise to me, I thought, was Sweetwater 19.
I haven't had that. There's bottles still sitting.
Yeah, there are plenty of bottles.
Okay.
That's one of those things I just picked up one day, and maybe 2 months later finally got around.
What style is that even?
It's called Belgian Strong, it says, but it has Brett.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's I think put in wine barrels. It's got that Brett, a little bit of that funky Brett thing going on. Really, not totally dry, but somewhat dry.
Okay.
Extremely.
I'll pick one up. Their stuff is usually pretty well priced.
Yeah, I don't remember what that goes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you can't say it anyway.
I can't say it anyway.
But yeah,
I'm at that point where I just can't look anymore.
Sweetwater was kind of like
and
broke the mold for
the
me.
other thing, which is both good and bad for me, are you a big fan of Blackberry Farms?
I like their stuff as good representations of the lighter styles of the farmhouse ales and stuff.
Right.
They're not very adventurous, but the stuff that they make is good for what
I like
it
their
is.
stuff. I find it really tasty, but they've now taken the Prairie stuff because at least I hope this isn't a permanent thing. Where when Prairie first hit, they were all 750s,
Yeah.
and then they started moving to that 500 milliliter format.
Small format, yeah.
Well, when the new Blackberry Rye by
Oh,
Blackberry Farms,
no. They went down.
corked and caged, a little over 12-ounce bottle.
Really?
Yeah,
Same price?
about the same price. Hey, I get it from the business point of view. You can maximize the profits and all that by putting out the beer in a smaller format, similar price. We still buy it. Cork and cage gives it the romanticism, anyways, of being a nice farmhouse. But although very tasty,
I can't imagine their sales have been that great to warrant some sort of change like that. Or maybe that's why they're going
that's
to that
maybe
change.
why. I mean, I know they're in a number of markets because they're through Shelton and that whole, or one of those deals, Shelton, or 12%.
Yeah.
So they do make it to a number of places in small quantities.
Yeah.
Outside of Tennessee.
The stuff I've had from them is good.
Tasty.
It's
Well,
good.
tasty.
I think it's a little pricey for what it is, though.
The blonde I thought was fantastic. I think that
I always like blondes.
this is unfortunately not going to dissuade me, and they know that people like me will still buy it
I know
at
you're
that
typically
price
a
point.
brunette guy, but yeah.
Yeah, what's that?
I said I've always enjoyed the blondes. I know you're a brunette guy.
Yeah.
No, you're actually a blonde guy too.
I am. My wife is blonde.
Yeah.
But
you see
not-
this giant growler I have here?
Yeah, what's going on over there?
Yeah,
That's
it's
not a
giant
milk
stand-
jug full of beer.
It might be. Nobody will know. It's a good thing we're not videotaping this. Oh, wait a minute. You're listening to 93.9 WLXU, COCBLOK Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers of Kentucky. We're drinking beer.
We're drinking beer.
We're not drinking beer.
Beautiful downtown Lexington, Kentucky. And this one goes out, although she's surely not listening, to my wife. It's her favorite song.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers of Kentucky, or COCBLOK, as we like to call ourselves. And, I'm Matt. That's Jeff over there. You don't get to talk anymore.
I'm Jeff.
Yeah, shut up. You're done. We've been talking about the beer we've been drinking. We've been talking way too long about beer we've been drinking. And you have been traveling.
Oh, man, I've been like Willie Nelson on the road again. Getting out of this town.
Now, you didn't get...
One horse town.
You said you didn't get a vacation.
So I did not get a vacation.
Yeah.
I didn't get to go down to the beach and buy a milk jug of beer for $1.75.
That's the only way to do it, man.
was.
Yeah, milk beer.
So finally, we just said, all right, we got to do something. Let's just somewhere nearby. And Lexington, we're so convenient to so many places. So something also with kids.
Yes.
Because I got two little ones who throw up in the car after playing on iPad for 2 hours straight.
Yeah. Well, I did that too, yeah.
So we went up to Columbus, Ohio.
Yes.
You heard of this place called Ohio?
I don't know.
It's not too far away.
Yeah.
And Columbus is a nice little town. So we went up there, hit Hoofhearted.
Hoofhearted, which is Marengo.
restaurant.
How far away from Columbus is
No, we went to the restaurant.
Oh, I didn't know
So
they had a
I guess
restaurant.
there's the Marengo. I guess is where everybody goes to get the cans.
Is that the
when it's
actual
release day?
production facility? Okay.
And there is a brewing setup inside the restaurant, but it is so Hoofhearted, which I guess is a pun for who farted. Right up my alley, man. This is.
I feel like we need to have a laugh track behind that.
I have my son back in here.
Cheering. Yeah,
saying,
exactly.
But it's in this really interesting setup. The restaurant, you're going to this part of Columbus. I don't know what the neighborhood's called, but you're basically in an apartment building. So when you go into the restaurant, there's a pool outside.
Yep,
Where people can go swimming.
Actually, I think I heard. I think Jason Chisholm was telling me
there?
about this.
Yeah.
I think so.
And I thought it was nice brunch. Decent beers on tap. Biggest disappointments, you can't buy cans at the restaurant unless there's some special shipment that day. So it's not like they're sitting around with lots of cans laying around. Hey, you want to take a 6-pack or some merch? Even tried, they had the Danish glasses that they bring from Denmark with special 330 milliliter glasses. Thought, let's get a glass.
You can't buy merchandise there either?
No glasses for sale.
Now, that's not a legal thing. That's just a conscious decision they made.
Or they didn't have any glasses to sell that day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about I love glassware. What kind of Danish glass is this?
The 330 milliliter glasses, they're milliliter or centiliter glasses, which are the really small glasses.
Milliliters, small.
And that when I was in Denmark, we see that's how they do the small pours.
Really?
And I said, this reminds me of the beers we had the glass we had in Copenhagen. She goes, yeah, that's where they get them from. They get them from Denmark.
What kind of shape? Was it like a tulip style, or was it like a? Is that your phone?
That's my phone.
Oh my
off.
god!
Yeah.
Can you put it on silent?
On All right. It's special.
You've ruined this entire show. Call it off.
Really important information from my my stockbroker. Turns out all my shares in Sirius Radio are up 5 cents. So I'm doing really well. So then
all 4 of them.
All 4. So we got our beers, and of course, right afterwards, I got to go to the bathroom on the way to wherever we're going next. Takes me 5 seconds. I have to pee again after I pee before I leave.
Yeah.
But eventually, chill out. And then that night we go to this cool place. I'm always looking for places that because I have 2 kids, so I have to have a place where we can eat usually if it's in the evening. And in this really nice suburban part of Columbus, again, I don't know what the neighborhood is, Lineage Brewing, which is in this it's like in a really cool kind of not a strip mall, but a area where there's a little restaurant, kind of a shopping area.
Okay.
And it's an old maybe gas station or garage because it's got that garage door. Like, you're wondering, is this new or is this really was one time a garage?
Yeah.
Apparently it was. But what I thought, first of all, I thought their beers were phenomenal and really good, and I've never heard of them before. Lineage.
Okay.
But the other interesting thing about this place for food, meat pies.
Okay.
Empanada meat pies.
Okay.
Have you ever been to a brew pub that had meat pies? That's what they had. Meat pies and sandwiches. But it's not like, hey, I want to get a burger, I'm going to get some fish and chips. No, meat pies.
Okay. Is it like, so define what's in a meat pie there. Is it like something...
Like an empanada.
Irish?
Do you know what an empanada is?
I've heard the term, but I've not...
You've never had an empanada?
Mm-mm.
What?
Contrary to how I look, I am not Hispanic,
I thought you were from Colombia. Venezuela. Aren't you Venezuelan?
Well, yeah, as far as the
so it's like this, Matt. A meat pie is a pie of some sort, usually with either with a buttery dough.
Is it like a pot pie?
No, it's like a panada. It's got a buttery, crusty dough, and you put something inside it.
But it's actually a pie?
Or meat. Enclosed.
Okay.
Like
a toaster strudel.
Like a baraka, like a
hot pocket?
Kind of like a hot pocket.
Okay.
For those of you from Kentucky, it's kind of
like a homemade hot pocket.
But not from the freezer at your Kroger.
Okay, so it's like a fresh hot pocket.
So basically an empanada is a homemade hot pocket.
Okay,
right. Okay.
That's what we're going to go with.
And I've never been to a brew pub that had empanadas and meat pies.
Yeah.
Right, and they're really good.
You got to call it a fresh hot pocket from now on, or I'm not going to understand.
Biscuits, it was like really a nice little thing. So I like that place a lot. And then we went down to Indianapolis. And Indianapolis, for those of you who don't know, is one of the worst states to be a beer drinker with kids because, just breweries in general, you can't have kids in.
Yeah.
But even if you have...
In Indianapolis.
You can't go to Flat 12 with your kids because it's just a brewery, right?
Okay.
Or someplace, or Sun King or someplace like that. But a tap room is off limits. But a place with food may still be off limits if there's not some kind of weird separation between, I think, where the beer is served and the food is made. So when you go to a place... I went to Tow Yard, for example. Have you ever been there?
Mm-mm.
And Tow Yard, which their theme is like another one of these garages. That's their theme. It's towing.
Jeez, yeah.
Towing.
You're going to garage bar. You need to hit 18th
Right.
Street. Yeah.
So our theme is automotive or something. I don't know. But you can only go for your kids in the deli area, which is where some of the food is served. You can have food anywhere in the whole place, but only in the deli area because that's the place close to the food.
Yeah.
And you can't sit for your kids anywhere else in the tap room.
Okay.
And then
so do they literally tell you to move if you're too close to the beer?
It says no kids except right here.
Awesome.
This is the family friendly part.
That's awesome.
And then St. Joseph's Brewery, which is an old church, another part of this thematic thing we see going on these days where I guess Christians aren't going to church anymore, and so breweries are coming in and buying up the churches.
I guess.
Like Holy Grail, which was not it's
Black
a bar.
Abbey.
Black Abbey.
Out of Tennessee.
Whatchamacallit, Taft's, and what's the other one?
Taft's is beautiful.
Oh, that's the most. Taft's is far more gorgeous than St. Joseph. Yeah. St. Joseph was not a beautiful old church, but Taft's is just. What's the other one in Cincinnati? Urban Artifacts.
I haven't been there yet.
I've not been there, but I think that it was also a church.
Okay.
So you guys need to start praying, man, because breweries are going to take over all your places to go and have God.
Dear
Jesus is going to be very mad at you.
Yeah, I think he's already
or maybe
angry.
He's happy. I don't know.
He's probably,
Anybody who knows about Jesus should call in to our non-existent phone number and tell us. And then the other place, purely by accident, because we were looking for I was looking for this from my wife, but also I was interested too. This vegetarian place called 3 Carrots. And it's actually in Indianapolis. It's in 3 Carrots.
This is a restaurant.
Restaurant, sort of, in Indianapolis, but it's in City Market. If you've been to City Market in Indianapolis...
I don't go to Indianapolis.
It's a cool town.
I've been through it. Yeah. I've stopped in there, but I've never actually seen the sights.
A lot going on, and it's kind of like Reading Market in Philadelphia, one of those indoor food marts.
Okay.
And on the top level is the Tomlinson Craft Beer Bar, and their thing is only Indiana beer.
Okay.
But again, your kids have to sit. You can't go into that area, so they have to be on the outside, and it's a whole seating area upstairs anyways. But I like that because you go, if you're from out of state and you want some Indiana beer,
So the whole place is nothing but beer from Indiana.
All whatever. I don't know if there were 12 or 15 or whatever taps.
It must have been a small place. I'm not saying there's not a lot in Indiana, but
oh no, there's lots of beer.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I mean,
there's a ton they didn't even have on tap, right?
Okay.
On a lot of new beers.
So they do pretty well a place like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if we had a place that was just Kentucky beer, I can't imagine it would do very well. Not that we don't have any good places, but there's so much better stuff out there, or a lot of good stuff out there that I think a lot of people would be drawn to where there's more variety.
There's still a lot of Kentucky beer we don't even see here in Lexington.
Yeah.
Like White Squirrel or...
but if you could go to a place like, the Kentucky Only Beer Bar, and they had nothing but, everything that we have locally, or you could go to a place like... Beer Trap to where they have Kentucky beer and everything else.
One of my favorite things in Craft Beer Week is when someone does a Kentucky takeover, because then I can try hopefully things that are from Kentucky but we don't normally see on tap.
How about like a Lifetime Kentucky takeover though? Would you keep going there?
I might.
Yeah.
What if there's what if Great Flood and Apocalypse and White Squirrel and what's the other one out of Paducah that we see here now?
Dry Ground.
Dry Ground or Paducah Beer Works. They're making different beers all the time, and I'm not going to go to Paducah. It's 2 hours away, and get a chance to try their beers.
But you can also get Dry Ground at Arcadium.
Well, you can get a lot of places in town.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think I need it corralled into one place.
But you are not. Now you are not a homer, and we should talk about homerism later. But you are not a homer.
Yeah, well, okay, maybe I like to swing both ways. I'm not picky, but
I go both for state and out of state.
Maybe that would be good for
Beerl.
By Beerl. Oh my god,
that didn't work.
No. Yeah, no, that's a stretch.
All right, man.
I could see that being good for somebody that's a tourist. I don't think. We're kind of getting a little off.
Well, there are more breweries in Indiana than there are in Kentucky.
Yeah,
that's the first thing.
Yeah, and there
are a lot more.
Probably
breweries.
more people visiting Indianapolis than there are Lexington. Maybe not.
It takes a lot longer to get maybe from the top of the state at Gary to the bottom of the state at New Albany or something like that. I don't know. It's probably still.
Yeah, I'm surprised in your garage beer
I don't think it's that far a drive.
You didn't hit 18th Street and just keep going north.
Well, when we were in Indianapolis, my wife was thinking, well, maybe we should go to Three Floyds on the way home. But that's the wrong direction.
On the way,
that's the wrong direction.
Yeah, she's like, oh wait, I got this map upside down.
We'd have to actually go 2 hours or so north to get.
Well, you kind of did like this big triangle anyway.
Kind of like a triangle, yeah.
Yeah. So that would have been like.
Well, actually, what my other plan was. So what we were going to do is in Columbus on Sunday when we woke up, we were going to go have lunch at the Hare Krishna Temple. Mm-hmm. So that's a whole other story. And it turns out that lunch was so late, and then I was going to stop in Dayton and go to Warped Wing maybe or Toxic. Yeah. But that plan didn't work out because we realized to go to the Hare Krishna lunch, you have to get there at 11. Lunch is until 1:30. You're going to be there till 3. Whole day it's going to be a Hare Krishna day. I don't want to do that. You know? I just want the lunch.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm not really interested in your religion. Just trying your vegan food.
Yeah.
This is
it should be like not so Hare Krishna.
I want some of your vegan food.
Yeah. I knew it.
So, but then I saw the top. We still could have stopped in Dayton on the way to Indianapolis, but I saw the top list at Warped Wing, and it was basically everything I've already had by then. There was nothing special.
Yeah.
And Toxic looked cool. I've never been there, but there was no food at Toxic, and
I'm not familiar with Toxic. Where are they?
I've never had anything from them. It's in Dayton, so I'm looking at the places in Dayton. There's about 3 or 4 brew pubs or breweries in Dayton. It's just outside of Columbus. Maybe stop, do a little tour.
That's north too, right?
It's
north of Dayton.
The brewery.
I'm sorry, north of Columbus.
It is to the west.
To the west, okay.
Yeah, to the west on the way to Indy.
I don't think I've ever been to Dayton.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
I wonder what's in Dayton.
You had this kind of north and then west and then back south kind of adventure. Did you get to try any Wiseacre in Indianapolis?
No, Wiseacre is from.
Are they in Indiana?
Nashville.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's from Nashville.
I had some from them.
I've had a lot of Wiseacre.
Yeah, I passed through. I think it was the only thing I had from them, and it was some coffee thing.
But it's from Nashville.
Okay. Well, then so did you go down to Nashville?
I would like to go to Nashville. Have you been to Nashville?
I've been to Nashville multiple times.
That's still a city in this area I've not been to.
Not very beer-centric town.
I want to go to Bearded Iris for some reason. It just sounds like a cool little brewery. Bearded Iris.
That sounds messy. That sounds like you could get in trouble there.
I think it's Farmhouse or Saison.
Okay, I hope so. Yeah, I've been to a lot of concerts down there with friends. And
you've been, what's that famous place? Rhyme or something? What's it called?
I don't know.
Ryman?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, what concert did you really go to a concert there?
In Nashville?
Like New Edition or something? Or Kids on the Block?
Yeah, it was like, Boys to Men. Yeah, Boys to Men reunion tour. Yeah, it was like Men to Men. No, I've been there a lot, and I don't know if I go down there just for beer. I mean, if you're passing through, it's definitely worth a stop. Tennessee's kind of.
There's a lot of breweries down there.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
More than Knoxville's dead.
Knoxville's dead. I go to Yazoo every time I go through Nashville. It's it's a fun place. They're not breaking any records or winning any awards that I know of, but they got good stuff. I actually, the last time I was down there was actually right before Black Abbey opened.
Right.
So I actually didn't get to check them out.
You did not go to Black. I've had
some of their stuff.
I have a friend down there, and he's brought me a couple of things by them. They're all right.
Yeah, and it's just that a lot of the Nashville beer scene. I'm just kind of like, oh, it's all right.
It's all right.
Yeah, if I was going through there and I had time, yeah, I'd stop. Yeah, the first what's the Flying Saucer? You ever been to one of those? Is that what it's called? First one I ever went to was down there, and I was really impressed at the time. But yeah, that's
every time you order a beer in Tennessee, they check your ID. No matter how old you look. Yeah.
Well, talking about wonky beer laws, they still got that thing where I'm pretty sure where in Tennessee, if it's under 6%, it's in like the store, and if it's over 6%, it's in the store. So
I think you also have to wear your underwear in a beer store. That's a law.
Yeah, you can't put an ice cream cone in your back pocket. Oh wait, that's Kentucky.
You cannot free. What is it called?
What?
You can't
free ball
it in a liquor store. You can't free ball in a liquor store in Tennessee. I think that is a law passed by Rand Paul when he was living down there briefly.
Yeah. So you had fun on your not vacation,
right?
Good times, man.
It's good times, man. In a hotel at 9:00 in the evening with two kids, watching King of the Hill, and they seem to love that show, and bouncing around and yelling and screaming and hitting each other and losing their stuff. You always lose stuff on a vacation. You have a kid. You always lose stuff on a vacation with your family. Someone loses some. My wife lost her glasses. I think someone lost a Minecraft toy.
It's usually me. Yeah.
You lose something.
Yeah, I always lose something.
What, your sanity?
yeah, my patience.
Are we there yet?
My love for my family. I'm just kidding. I love your family that's not even listening to the show. But you're listening to COCBLOK, Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers on WLXU FM radio. Welcome back to the Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers of Kentucky, a.k.a. COCBLOK radio. Hello, I'm
blockers.
Matt, and that's Jeff. Stop. No, talk. No more talking.
Am I not allowed to talk anymore?
Okay, you can talk. I just went to the restroom during our little break.
How was it, man?
It smells like fireworks out there. Have you noticed?
The restroom or the outside?
Like the everywhere.
Well, they have every year. They do this is the only place
the indoor
in
fireworks
Kentucky they do
festival?
the indoor fireworks festival. Usually, it's kind of like running with the bulls kind of thing
In the public school space.
You didn't read about
people
this
run down the hallway and they shoot bottle rockets at them? That must be what it was.
Did you read about this in Kentucky.com?
Apparently, I experienced it out there.
So it's a tradition here in Lexington.
Yeah,
for those of you who are not from Lexington.
Well, I was fearing for the safety of the station. I am.
And you've never heard of this tradition?
Yeah. Well,
every year we come out here to the indoor fireworks display. We get a little bit burned, but not too bad.
Yeah. Well, everybody wears flame retardant clothing.
Well, you can't say
to the best of their,
say that word on the air.
Flame retardant.
Whoa! What's the matter with you?
Anyway.
Oh, we said so at the same time. Jinx, you owe me a soda.
So I want to talk about this new job coming up that everybody has been like, I've never been tagged in so many Facebook posts.
I think 10,000 people have put this on my Facebook page.
What is it? The Smithsonian Institute is hiring a beer, is it archivist?
Sorry, right. So for 3 years, is it?
Yeah.
They are hiring someone to do beer archival work.
Yeah.
I can't remember if there was a particular focus or just do archival work.
I read into it a little bit. It pays $64,000 a year, which is
nothing in Washington D.C.
Yeah, well, so I don't know.
That'll get you a 100 square foot apartment.
Yeah, and it requires a lot of travel.
To breweries.
I guess, yeah.
Collecting stuff.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think a lot of people are just assuming that this is a job where you get to drink beer all the time and just get drunk. And they've been inundated with applications by probably guys that are sitting on their couch, just like, I drink beer. I'm going to get me one of them their jobs.
But then our non-beer drinking friends think that, well, because we like to drink beer, then we must want to be an archivist. Yeah. I want to work for the Smithsonian. Like, but whoa, stop the clock.
Yeah.
No,
I'm not a historian.
I'm not a historian. I'm not an archivist. Yeah. And I don't want... Why are you sending me this? I have a good job anyway. Yeah. I have tenure. I'm not going to give up tenure for a 3-year job in Washington, D.C.
That's ridiculous. So anyways, you applied, right?
Washington, D.C. is not even a state. I'm not living in a place that's not a state. I'm against... First of all, I'm totally against Washington, D.C.
Just like the entity of it?
Everything about it. It's not a state. They don't have distribution laws. It's hot there and sweaty, and the president's there. So it's got everything against it for me.
Yeah.
So...
Crime rate's really high, too.
Yeah.
You will get shot.
So people just assume because you like beer...
Yeah,
you must want some kind of job that's beer related. And the other flip side of that is people who just like beer may think, hey man, I like beer. I can be a rep, or I can go be an archivist. And I'm sure they're getting applications for people who say things like, well, I have 10,000 untapped. reviews.
Exactly, yeah, and like that's their qualification.
Right.
And there's some crossover there. You know, it's not just, you know, drink a beer. Now, first and foremost, I'll say that I am actually excited to see jobs like this get so much attention because it's drawn attention to the industry. And I think it's really cool that people are taking beer seriously. So now the Smithsonian is trying to, what did you call it? The Smithsonite Institution?
This was on a
He
this was autocorrect on my
Hey, have you heard
phone.
about the Smithsonite job?
Which is a whole different thing. There's about
is that a new luggage manufacturer?
There's a luggage archival thing. But the other thing also, and I think I once said this to one of the local brewers when they were getting started, I said, save everything.
Yeah.
Save every single coaster, every single flyer, every single whatever you make, label. Also save your correspondences because one day you might want that internal archive.
Yeah.
And a lot of places do. If Keeneland Racetrack, for example, has an archive, I don't think it's publicly accessible, but they've talked to our department in the past about people coming over and working in their archives. If you want to do research on racing, horse racing, etc. I mean, Budweiser, I'm sure, has a huge archive of information and stuff they've saved over the years, whether they're emails or budget reports, but also just every single Budweiser thing they've ever made is probably sitting in an archive in St. Louis somewhere.
Yeah, and I would think that, you know, I was saying this is kind of like the crossing of streams of two different types of work. But I mean, I guess what's kind of unique about being a quote unquote archivist, I don't really know what the qualifications are for a job like that, but I would assume that you have to really love what you're looking into. Right. If you don't like beer or if you hate beer, you know, being a beer archivist where you have to do research on beer all day is probably going to be like the last thing that you want to do. So there is some crossover there. So somebody that actually enjoys research, looking into the history of it, but is, you know, formal enough about it to where they can actually put together information about it, they'll probably love this job. But you know what? It'll probably end up being somebody that really isn't even a beer nerd. It
might be someone who's a librarian.
Yes, exactly.
Or a journal. It could be a journalist, I guess, if you have good curation skills. Someone who knows how to collect stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's another level to it, I think, which is you have to tell a story. So when you go into a museum, and I try not to go into a lot of museums, but every now and then you go into a museum and you see some kind of art, you know, curation. They're telling a story, whether it's about ancient Greece or about a popular cultural moment or art or whatever. They're telling a story through the artifacts that they've assembled in a certain way. So a really cool beer collection, it would seem to me, with the Smithsonian, would tell some story of beer at some period of time in American culture, if it's just American, maybe the craft beer revolution, so-called revolution in the last 30 years, through the various artifacts that they've collected throughout the United States. I mean, if you go to Sierra Nevada, they probably do have an archive. I can't imagine that in 30 years, nobody at Sierra Nevada has been collecting the stuff they've been making over, not just the beer itself, but all the other
some guy that lives out in the dumpster that keeps grabbing every time they throw it away.
Even when we were at the Bell's Takeover the other day, the rep came over and put a bunch of Bell's guitar keychains on the table. Yeah. That's something that you would say, put aside. You know, I love all those little knick-knack items that are associated with beer. Yeah. They're openers.
I think you want this job.
Tap handles. Do I want this job?
I think you want this job. You applied, didn't you?
Just 5 times.
I got the guy's number.
One time I applied as Jeff, J-E-F. One time is G-E-O-F-F. Jeffrey.
J-A-F.
Jeffy.
Jaff.
All the same last name. And just a few times. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying I'm gonna take it. I don't know. I mean, am I? I mean, okay, I don't want it. Yeah. All right,
but I sit by my answer machine and I wait for you to call.
Okay, nobody's calling.
But when you put it in that perspective, and I agree with you, then the actual beer part of it is really just kind of second nature. It's more about the. It's more about
you have to be a collector. You have to be interested in the tangential, the peripheral, the other things that make up an industry. I mean, beer obviously
is the culture, not
the culture,
the beverage.
Right? Yeah. You have to know. You have to want to assemble the culture for an audience to understand that, and that's what I think most beer people have been trying to do anyways the last 30 years. Is let's not talk about getting loaded. Let's talk about the culture of beer. I mean, that's why that term revolution is a very dominant term in the craft beer industry. If you just read all the stuff that's been written about craft beer or watch some of the documentaries or the viral video, I'm a craft brewer, revolution. That's the culture. We revolted against mass conglomerate, fizzy lagers to produce something tasteful. And if you tap into that culture, the small versus the big, the independent, the artisanal, whatever it might be, I think you could assemble a really great curation, but it's not going to be me. It might be you.
Yeah, and on a side note, I think we're really kind of in a maybe 50 years from now or 100 years from now, people look back and they'll label this as something, but we really are in a time period where it's what did people call it, like the maker kind
Maker's
of
Mark?
period. No, just like where people are making stuff.
Making stuff.
Yeah, and it's like you see that in a lot of stuff. You see that with beer. You see it with like soap. You see it
we're
with,
in the artisanal moment. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, exactly. And it's happening with everything. And I don't think it was spurred on by
artisanal gasoline, artisanal mayonnaise.
Yeah, exactly.
$7 artisanal mayonnaise.
Yeah, artisanal water. I mean, seriously,
water,
it's like everything, like literally. But
coffee.
I don't think beer was like necessarily started that. But I think
it's part of that beginning.
I think it's a huge I think it was a huge. Part of it.
That moment in 1976 or so at New Albion, Jack McAuliffe assembled his own little makeshift brewery and started producing beer that tastes like nothing else they had in America.
Yeah.
And Ken Grossman got to taste it, and he's like, man, I want to make beer too. And he started Sierra Nevada and all that stuff that happened in California that started to move throughout the country. Yeah, that's a 30-something-year-old, over 30-year-old movement.
Yeah, Jeff's talking. He's researching the Smithsonian contact right now, and he's doing a
Well,
live
I just want to just say, of course, that in November, my book, Craft Obsession, The Social Rhetorics of Beer, will be coming out and have a lot of this information in it.
Yeah, Dear Smithsonian.
Dear Smithsonian. I've written a beer book. If I was like, no, I would never want to do that. Some people say, well, when you're on sabbatical, first of all, I've never had a sabbatical in my whole career.
Yeah.
But that's not my thing. But the other interesting position I just saw posted today is for executive director of the Kentucky Brewers Guild.
Yeah.
And the Kentucky Brewers Guild, like all states that have guilds, is a lobbying group, right? A representative group that's meant to represent the interests of brewing in Kentucky. And I guess
I'd consider something like that just because of the nature of it. It's more
it's kind of like what we try to train people in our department at UK to do, to be persuasive, to be able to do research, to make arguments. You're a lobbyist in some ways too, to understand how laws work, to represent the interests of the brewing industry in the state, so that they work as a unified group and not as a bunch of 20 or 30 independent units all looking for the same thing, which are good tax breaks, good good distribution laws, where conglomerates can't come in and, like as we saw recently in Kentucky, and buy up distribution and try to dominate the market. And what gets on the shelf, that was about a year ago or so when Anheuser-Busch was forced to sell.
Yes. That was kind of a big deal.
One of its distribution.
I remember Daniel Harrison from Country Boy was all up in arms.
I think DH has been one of the leaders, as far as I know, of the lobbying that goes on in the state. And they hold a lot of events for politicians here. I know there was one recently at the horse park they held, to because they have to educate the politicians too and say, look, here's the stuff we're making. Here's the amount of money it brings into the community. Here's the amount of money it brings into the state and tax revenue, et cetera.
It's extremely significant.
And billions of dollars at stake in craft beer.
Like a position like that probably should have been, put together a while back. A paying position, I'm sorry.
I think it's just part of the growing pains of the state. My understanding, and I once talked to DH about this too a couple months ago, is that the guild is, breweries, I guess, are contributing money towards the salary, part of the salary, and then they get a grant from the Brewers Association to help fill out the other part of the salary. And if you're also interested, Julia Hertz from the Brewers Association will be here in Lexington at Craft Writing.
There you go.
On September 30th at the University of Kentucky. craftwriting.asky.uky.edu for registering. It's free. And so I think that's a great gig if you're to be an executive director of the Kentucky Brewers Guild. I just saw the ad posted today. If you're interested in that kind of work, and maybe it's probably good for a lawyer, frankly. But if you're not a lawyer and you have really good argumentative skills and research skills,
I have great argumentative skills. It usually involves me taking an empty beer bottle and bashing somebody's head with it, but they always agree.
Dude, I saw that.
Always agree.
That night when you tried to make it with that wolf, dude.
Keep going. Where are you going? Keep going.
Crazy, man. You're crazy, man. There was a line from Stripes I was trying to quote, and I messed that up so bad.
So you had mentioned something. We were talking about beer and kind of politics and kind of the growth in the industry, and we got talking about shelf space and saturation of the market, and we got a new store coming in really soon. Total Wine and Beverage, which is another
very
large. Yeah,
I mean, they're everywhere.
Alcohol chain,
California,
not just beer, but it's like a liquor barn.
Yeah, Georgia, they're all over the place. Virginia, they're all over the place.
And they're coming to Lexington. Are they coming to?
I thought is it the Summit they're going to be in?
That's what I've heard.
Yeah,
I don't know. Summit over on Nicholasville Road, Man of War. That place is coming up quick. By the way,
is it?
Oh God, yeah. Those buildings are like almost done already.
I can't wait till that food court comes in, and the beer section of Whole Foods there and all that. But yeah, I think that'll be really interesting because this market is already kind of dominated by a chain. and to see another chain enter the market and say, we're going to go head to head with you.
Yeah.
And forget about the small shops for a second.
Yeah.
Because they're doing something unique that the Liquor Barn
and
doesn't do.
They're beyond beer too. It's the full gamut,
full
full
deal.
spectrum. Yeah.
And I think what some place like Beer Trap does is completely different than what Liquor Barn does. You just get a completely different kind of beers, stuff you won't see at Liquor Barn. But it's interesting to see Total Wine come in, and how is that going to play out when you've got Total Wine and Liquor Barn going head to head in a way that I don't think we see at grocery stores. I don't think Kroger and Whole Foods go head to head. But if you're a Kroger and a Publix or Kroger and a Hy-Vee, that would be a weird thing. But a Total Wine and Liquor Barn,
yeah.
I don't know, where you're going to shop there? You think so?
I think it's...
I'll check it out.
And I think it's kind of going to just come down... If they have the same kind of selection, it's more going to come down to proximity.
Right. Am I in the area?
Yeah. Over in the Summit, if that's where they go, there's not a Liquor Barn real close to there. You can go out to Palomar. You can go down to Richmond Road.
Beaumont is probably the closest.
Yeah. So, I mean, for that area, it might be perfect. Now, if they go and try to put one in Hamburg, then it's going to be kind of like...
It'd be weird. I don't know.
We'll see.
It makes sense to go in that area because you're right between the other big ones, and there's a lot of middle class and upper middle class people who live in that area.
I think even beyond that, in the you're talking about Hamburg or
no, where they're the Summit area.
Oh, okay. So. I think I could even actually see them surviving and doing well in the Hamburg area because you kind of have the kind of desolate areas that all people like. There's some places to go to in Richmond, or like Georgetown, or even like further out east. But for the most part, I think you see a lot of people coming over because Hamburg's right on the edge of Lexington there. So I think they could probably even do well there. But yeah, if they try to enter some of these, these spaces where Liquor Barn's already really prominent, I'd be interested to see exactly how that goes. But I don't know.
Or more stuff sits on the shelves. I mean, we don't know.
Yeah, maybe
better
more
selection,
competition. Yeah,
more competition. Maybe
cheaper prices.
Maybe stuff you don't see in other places, or maybe more shelf turds just sitting around collecting dust.
Well, that's the thing. There's a lot of stuff that sits on the shelf right now.
One other thing might be if you see more stores like this open in the state of Kentucky, more distro because there's more opportunity for shelf space.
Yeah,
maybe I don't know for sure, but it does open up for some places to think, well, we can bring in more breweries.
Yeah,
or maybe breweries looking to expand. We'll see. Well, there's an opportunity.
And I think that brings us around to the other point. That means more job opportunities. That means more growth for the industry.
More salespeople.
Yeah, I think craft beer has never been better in Central Kentucky. And speaking of, or we'll go out with IPA Day is August 4th, so drink a good IPA. I think it's August 4th.
You got one on deck?
No, not yet. I'm going to find a good one. I don't keep IPAs anymore because they go bad after like 6 days. So.
They go in our house pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So there's nothing. I don't even know. There might be a few later.
That Mocha IPA from Stone, I've been drinking the heck out of it. Oh, yeah, it's amazing. So I'll find something new for IPA Day.
When I leave here, I'm going to go. I don't think it's an IPA, it's a pale. I'm going to go look for that Boulevard Tropical Pale.
Yeah.
Pick up a can of that.
Yeah, whatever.
So you've been listening to COCBLOK, the Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers of Kentucky on WLXU 93.9 in gorgeous, beautiful Kentucky. And come back next week and join us for our show.